Hi, it's Kaya from Pastel Plague. Today I'll be making a Harvest Moon bubble cow. The bubble cow is, in my opinion, the cutest Harvest Moon cow. I think it's just the peak of bovine excellence. Okay, it is perfection. It's not my character design, so I cannot claim it. I can show you how to make one for yourself, or I can make one for you if you like. But yes, let's get started. Okay, so full disclosure, I actually forgot the exact ratio since I haven't made these in a bit, but I figured it out and ended up going with 20 grams for the body and around 12 grams for the head. For the details like ears, horns, tail, and tail end, those would be around 200 milligrams or 0.2 gram on your scale, and the others are 300 milligrams. To make the body, roll out a ball, then start squeezing it to form a curved, oblong shape that tapers outwards. I guess it kind of looks like a loaf of nice bread, like a nice sourdough. To form the legs, I make a fairly shallow cut on both ends of the bread to separate the tails into legs and start pinching, and keep pinching. Honestly, the majority of what you do when sculpting is pinching things and petting them and pinching them again and smoothing them and petting them. So get used to doing that for an amount of time. I will be cleaning the sculpture with Q-tips and rubbing alcohol throughout because I want to minimize the painting involved after the bake, and I want to keep the clay white. The head is pretty much a slouch beanbag shape that you want to pinch at the top and make bigger at the bottom for maximum boopy nose cuteness. I actually changed my mind about the tail later and replaced the tail end, as well as eventually use some liquid clay to secure the ears. They are easily the sculpt's weakest point, so I recommend doing this. If you're using UV resin to seal the sculpture as well, that will help secure the weak point. If you don't have colored clay but have acrylic paint, you can just use the same color clay for everything and paint it later. I'm just trying to make my own life easier and work with what I personally have got on hand. I've baked the cow, but it's sealed for life. Its head fell off, which I find highly relatable. This is not a problem, I can super glue it, but I'll be honest, I would appreciate any advice that somebody might have. It's a very precariously placed head on the body. The only way I can think of it being done is with a double bake. If I were to just stick some supports in the body before baking and then put the head on and then bake it. But I'm trying to avoid that, and especially if I can just super glue it. Which probably will yield the same result. I don't know if it's worth it. I think it would be better practice. But yeah, these are definitely not meant to withstand as much abuse as the keychains I make are, because those are troopers. But yeah, these are just little cows to sit on your shelf. They're not meant for the hard life. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Maybe you've got a better idea of like how this could be, because whenever I try to do it in a single bake and put wire in, it would just collapse, and like in a very quite grotesque way actually, because it would just be sticking out and it would just be like this head falling off. Sadly, we can fix this. Technically this is even good for us because it makes the head easier to paint before we stick it back on the body. So silver linings all abound. For the painting part, I use Liquitex acrylic paint in light pink for the snout. I love this shade of pink. It has some warmth to it and it really fits the bubble cow. I made a little boo-boo, but that's okay, we can scrape that off later. Messing up is just part of the process, and learning to fix mistakes is extremely useful. And while you're watching me paint, how are you doing? Like, what have you been up to lately? What makes you happy? Is it spring where you are yet? Because I keep staring at all these new emerging fresh flowers and leaves. I walk my dog every day, so I get to see whose magnolia trees blossomed first. And the air smells much nicer, and my sweet little German Shepherd is insistent on fighting bumblebees. I keep telling her that she would lose that battle and end up with a huge silly nose, but she doesn't listen. Shocker. Recently, to fill the Fleabag-sized hole in my heart, I started watching Unaliving Eve. I said Unaliving Eve because on Mark Zuckerberg's holy internet .gov, we're not allowed to say that verb. Season 1 and 2 are supposed to be really good. I am afraid of 3 and 4 because Apparently there's different director for each one of them, and 3 and 4 are not as good. But if you've got any recommendations for TV shows, I'm always inhaling them like plain oxygen, because when I'm working with my hands, my ears are free and my eyes are partially free for part of it. So I just end up going through so much TV, some of it good, some of it bad. I'm always open for more recommendations. For the brown spots, I use a 3M tip Posca pen in brown. I will apply 2 coats of this to build up the color, waiting for it to dry between coats. I don't like using paintbrushes much, possibly because I am not very skilled with them. I'm just much more comfortable with pens. And hey presto, she is done. It's cool to see the satin finish cow next to a resin finish one. You can directly compare them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Your kind comments actually make me so motivated and happy, and you know, keep the good stuff coming because I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.